While certain parties may argue about the theory of evolution, we see its effects every day in the people we meet and the ways we interact. We tend to think of evolution as survival of the fittest and only look at the overall organisms involved. However, evolution is truly based on the genes that are passed down from generation to generation. Based on limited resources and varying abilities, evolution doesn't see the prolonged continuity of individuals. Instead, it relies on the immortality of genes. It is genes that determine who survives and therefore which genes are passed on in perpetuity. They can be replicated over and in varying combinations, which make them the perfect thing for evolutionary forces to act upon. Genes are inherently selfish. This is because genes come in the form of bundled chromosomes. They come in pairs that have specific functions at each position. Alleles are different versions of genes that can exist at the same site. For example, each eye color has a different allele. However, only one allele can be present in each chromosome and certain alleles are dominant over the other, allowing only one manifestation to be expressed. Therefore, genes need to compete. The manifestation of a gene is called a phenotype. They determine what characteristics an organism will ultimately have. If the phenotype does not help the organism to survive, then the gene loses. No one gene automatically wins at the game of evolution. This is because the environment in which it is expressed changes everything. Herbivores cannot compete with their comrades if their genes produce teeth that rip flesh. While genes are inherently selfish, they are forced to work together because no one gene can ensure its survival without working with others. Organisms are highly complicated, needing to fulfill several different functions before they can live any sort of life and reproduce later on. Therefore, genes work together within an organism sharing the same reproductive system so that they can replicate. The propagation of genes also comes with the programming of behavior. Some genetic rules predispose us to do specific things. However, not all of these may be beneficial as time goes on. Humans may crave sweet foods as they give us bursts of energy. In the past, this was helpful, but now it is the cause of a global pandemic of obesity. Just like how genes are different, behaviors are as well. Their interactions produce stable populations as no one behavior is ideal over the rest. Doves escape when they are attacked, while hawks will always attack and fight as long as they are able. Retaliators are a hybrid, staying peaceful until attacked. While a hawk population can be successful by attacking doves, too many hawks mean that the population will decrease later as they will fight amongst themselves. Meanwhile, doves decrease until which time the hawks are too hurt attacking each other to attack them. As for retaliators, they have an evolutionarily stable strategy in which they can survive even among hawks and doves. Altruistic acts may seem strange given the concept of selfish genes. However, we see that people don't go pushing each other down all the time. We can see this in behaviors such as parental nurturing and sacrifice. This is because it is more beneficial for genes to program such behavior. An old individual must give way and protect younger ones, especially those with which it shares kinship. After all, it is the younger generation that is capable of passing on the genes. This sort of behavior also occurs between species. Many interactions among nature are not purely antagonistic or competitive. However, the organisms are not kind to each other simply because of altruism. Instead, they're fulfilling each other's purposes for the selfish ultimate goal of survival. This can be seen because both species or organisms benefit overall from their cooperation. Human culture also functions like evolution. We have ideas, beliefs, and principles that may act in direct conflict with each other. Sometimes, these even go against the biological prerogatives that have been functioning for millions of years, such as celibacy. Yet, these cultural notes survive the test of time. Knowing this, we may be able to learn from our behavior to override selfish survival strategies. Unlike genes, humans are capable of careful thought and planning. Though we have the natural imperative to compete with each other, we should be able to learn and change our behavior to